This week, we've seen a pop in the price of Plug Power, the hydrogen fuel cell company, on a deal they've struck with Airbus. So is this going to be the start of a new trend, or actually is it going to be short-lived and the stock price is going to drop once again? So it'd be interesting to do an update on Plug Power. We had some recent news about this partnership they've done with Airbus. It's been a pretty volatile year. If we go back to early 2021, the stock was trading near $75. And then in May of this year, it was down below 20 briefly. It's recovered since then, but we haven't seen much in the way of progress over the last 3 months. So as usual in this video, I'll talk a bit about the stock, what's been going on, the recent news, other analysts' thoughts, then we'll come back and look at the charts quickly in a bit more detail.
Hello, I'm David Jones from Capital.com, and I thought we'd do an update on Plug Power, given the recent news we've had about Airbus in the last day or so, but more of that in a second. So as usual in this video, we'll talk about some of that news, some of the fundamentals, the earnings, the outlooks, what other institutions are expecting for Plug Power in the medium term. Then we'll jump onto the platform and have a quick look at the charts as well. As usual, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, if you could click on subscribe, it does help support the channel, and it means we can continue to push out, hopefully, lots of interesting videos throughout the week on the different stocks that we look at. Right, let's get into it and take a look at Plug Power in a bit more detail. So what do Plug Power do? It's a US company involved in the development of hydrogen fuel cell systems as an alternative to perhaps the more familiar batteries that we have in equipment and cars. The company first came to the market in 2002 via IPO. So they've been around as a publicly traded company for almost 20 years. And the first product, or the first area it went after, were indoor forklifts. In latest news, the company's announced a strategic partnership with the aircraft manufacturer Airbus, and it's to study the feasibility of bringing green hydrogen to airports and aircraft around the world. So it's seen as something of a major partnership. We'll see where it goes. Airbus has got what's seen as an ambitious goal of bringing zero-emission aircraft to the market within the next 15 years. So clearly, partnering up with Plug Power is seen as quite a boost for Plug Power. We've had the latest earnings from Plug Power during the summer. Our latest earnings showed a loss, no surprise there. Earnings per share came in showing a loss of 18 cents per share. But this was worse than the market was expecting. Market expectations were up for around a loss of 7 cents. So the loss ended up being more than double what the market was forecasting for Plug Power. So as it is a loss-making company, there's not much point talking about the price-earnings ratio. It's got a negative PE ratio. It's not uncommon, of course, for stocks such as this in areas that are seeing at the leading edge of technology, for example, for them to make losses and perhaps make losses for some years. Their stock price is seeing more of a bet on their future potential in that marketplace. I think Tesla, clearly is a great example of this. If we go back over the years and the losses they made and to how well the stock price has done more recently. But one of the things that concerns some analysts is cost inflation. So it has been noted that costs for the company are growing faster than revenues. So sales are increasing, but costs are increasing at a greater rate. So some people would think, well, that's something that could hamper the company in the medium term. But from Plug Power's point of view, it has come out and said that it does expect a significant decline in hydrogen prices in the second half of the year. And clearly a drop in the price of that raw material would affect its profit margins for the better. Citigroup has put a target on the stock. It's only a target of $35, so it's not that ambitious. They've initiated coverage, not too ambitious based on where the stock is trading now. But they do say, and this is a direct quote, that the hydrogen economy is on the cusp of a breakout. The more skeptical could say, well, it's been on the cusp of a breakout for some time, but that's Citigroup's latest view on the stock. It's not been the best run for the stock price this year. It peaked at $75 in January. That's the high for the year, but it's currently down around 50% from here. It did get a pop on that Airbus news earlier this week, but still well off the highs for the year. We'll take a look at the charts in a second, but first of all, let's talk about some of the levels to watch. I think the most immediate hurdle on the upside is the highs from June. That comes in around $36 for the stock. On the downside, lots of recent support. The most major one for me, the closest, is the August low. That comes in at $23.50. So, lots of volatility, but a bit sideways over the last few months or so. But let's put some color on these numbers. Let's take a look at the charts.
So here's the last 12 months or so for Plug Power. I mean, a great run up from August last year where it was below $10. Then, of course, surges up to 75 in Jan. But since then, it's not been anywhere near as exciting. We saw this really sharp sell-off into May. It's been, I suppose we'd say, somewhat sideways over the last 5 months since it found a base at those May lows around $20. So I thought, let's take a look at the charts. We talked about some of the recent news. Let's see what the charts are saying. I've got a 20-day moving average on here as usual. Moving averages give buy signals when the price moves above the moving average, like we had back here in May on that move through $25, and sell signals when the price falls below. We have had a buy signal over the last week or so, with the price moving once again through about $25 the first week of October. That was a buy signal on the moving average, so it's bullish at the moment from a moving average point of view, but there are some hurdles just above where we are now. If we take a look at the RSI, not surprising, given the move during the last week or so, the stock's gone from about $24 to $34. It's a big move in percentage terms. Obviously, it's a 30% plus move for the stock, pretty much a 40% move for the stock. The RSI has gone overbought, suggesting that perhaps the price has gone a little bit too far in the short term. So we just need to be aware that, the pop after the news has come out, perhaps we see an element of profit taking and a return to normality for the stock. So that would make me perhaps a bit cautious about buying in after the stock price has moved so far. And if we take a look at the last few months or so, we do have this broad sideways range. More recently, we've had support come in around 24. On the upside, sort of 35 to 36 has been something of a problem. So although it's been a pretty exciting October so far, it doesn't really change this range for the stock. I think if we can get enough momentum to start trading through 36, then perhaps it does start to look as if it's been something of a medium-term bottom. And then I suppose, gradual targets would be for a run back up to the mid-March highs around 40, and perhaps from there onwards above $45. So an exciting couple of weeks, hasn't really changed the short-term sideways outlook. Really interesting stock to watch, given everything that's going on in the clean energy space at the moment. But for me, I'll be watching these old highs around 36 to see if we can get a sustained breakout through there. At the moment, it could end up being something of a problem in the weeks ahead.
That's it for the update on Plug Power. We'll see. We'll come back to it. Big move this week, relatively speaking, on that Airbus news. Let's see if you can hang on and build to these gains, or is it going to turn down once more? We'll come back. We'll do an update. But for now, from me, David Jones, and Capital.com, we'll leave things there. Good luck with your investing.
For more trading videos just like this, please subscribe to our channel.